So the first thing we're going to talk about is Candace getting demonetized. Now, I found out about this at the last, excuse me, not the last minute. I found out about this when I was doing my political channel. And I was like, whoa, really? And so, of course, she's going to go ahead and start blaming the Jews and it amazes me. Okay, so let me give you the full breakdown. So Candace had about I do believe she had 3 videos removed, including her recent interview with Kanye West. Let me look at the Natalie video that we have. So it says, this one, Natalie says, openly anti-Semitic Candace Owens demonetized and temporarily suspended by YouTube after 3. Yeah. So she had 3 consecutive community guideline violations, which should have terminated her channel, but it just gave her a week suspension. So they actually just let her off with in my opinion, with a light spanking on her hand, because if you get 3 community guideline strikes, your channel is terminated. So she, according to her and according to the information she posted, she only received 1 week off. And when I say 1 week off, meaning 1 week she's suspended. So she's not suspended. She's not suspended for like a month or something like that. She's suspended for a week, and she has been fully demonetized. Now, when the reason why I wanted to know about the demonetization, because sometimes people get their video demonetized and they'll say, I got demonetized. So they don't get specific. So not only does she show receipts proving that she was completely demonetized, but she also showed the videos that were removed in reference to, I think it was the Andrew Tate, the Tristan Tate, the Kanye West videos, and she got she got a strike with the Kanye West video. And so that's what a strike was. She already had a warning. So with that strike, she is suspended off of YouTube for a week. Here's my problem with this. It's like people are like, and I'm so different. God, I'm such a different breed. I don't feel sorry for my enemies. I don't help my enemies. I don't give mercy to my enemies. Okay. So I'm not going to do the stupid thing that most conservatives do and go, I support free speech, but and I don't like Candace Owens, but this is a violation of free speech. Being demonetized has nothing to do with free speech. I did it again. I curse. The heifer is still.
Clip this whole spot. Burn her at the stake. Woo!
I told you I had to do this for myself than anybody else. God, I hate. Okay, I just got to work on this. The heifer is still on YouTube, so nobody's speech is taken away. I don't understand this. And second of all, did people forget that she's married to a multi-millionaire? Am I taking crazy pills here?
I don't think you're taking crazy pills, Tree. Although I would say I might be exactly the kind of person that you think is really stupid.
Because you'll be the one like, I don't like Candace, but I don't think that she should have been demonetized. Is that what you're saying?
Candace is the rich white lady at Chanel screaming that they won't take her $50 coupon. Okay,
Facts.
That's what okay.
Facts.
That's fair. Ordinary people get disappeared all the time and demonetized. Ordinary people get canceled and their whole lives destroyed all the time. So it is a little bit of a whiny story, isn't it?
Yeah, because she's rich. She's not hurting for money. And I don't understand why people are simple. What is with millionaires and billionaires where people, first of all, let's not forget I clowned that guy who said he went into debt to give Donald Trump, no, he maxed out his credit card to donate to Donald Trump. And I was like, you went in debt for a billionaire? So I don't understand that mentality. People give money to rich people. People give money to people who don't need the money, and they need the money more than the people they give it to. And then in this case, people are feeling sorry for a millionaire. Candace Owens, no matter how much I hate her, I have to admit she's a multimillionaire. Well, I don't know if she's a multimillionaire. She's a millionaire, but she's not hurting for money. So who cares if she if she is demonetized. But here's my thing. As an honorary Jew, if you don't like it, create your own. That's all I gotta say. I mean, why do y'all keep using my people's stuff? Y'all use my people's banks. Y'all use my people's companies. You use my people's lawyers. You use my people. Every time. And by the way, it was a big meme that said that was showing Candace with a Hitler mustache, and she said, "I got demonetized and suspended from YouTube. I need a Jewish lawyer." So funny.
Candace, white lives matter, okay? The Jews matter.
Oh God. So okay, what do you guys think about this?
Well, I know I always have to be okay with the person with the least popular opinion, because usually that's me. So I can't be a hypocrite. I have to always support the person with the what do they say? The minority of one, or the majority of one, the one person. But I mean, she counts for an army. She's got millions of dollars. And I really see all these people as kind of playing a role. So maybe it's a little too out in space for most people, but I see these people as there's a media narrative, and then there's the people who get paid to play the opposition. And most of the blue checks, I think, are just kind of there installed to influence our opinions on everything. I don't really think it's a genuine discourse on anything.
I still think we should just burn her at the stake, like no trial. Just throw her up there, light her on fire. I mean, I'm okay with that. But after someone like her, she's like a pedo shield, a rape apologist. Like, I don't really care what she thinks about the Jews.
Oh, good point. Good point. All right, Sharon, what you think? And then we'll get to Lisa.
I think she's just had a downward spiral fall. So she's just face planted downward. So that's essentially all she's doing. So, it started with, with the Tates, and now it's the conspiracy of the Jews, and she's just continuing to spiral down, and hopefully she just completely, falls flat, and that's it. Like, she's just losing more and more and more. So that's all I see her doing. So let her lose it. I don't really care. That's what you deserve. Like,
she's sleeping on a bed of money. So really,
what? Why should I? Exactly. She's a multimillionaire. She's married to a multimillionaire. What the hell do I care? That's where I'm at with her.
Right.
So.
Hey, good morning. First, I wasn't sure if we were talking about Pearl or Candace, but because I was gone there for a minute. But yeah, I don't feel sorry for either one of them. I haven't really been keeping up with the Candace situation, but I guess she got demonetized on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope she stays demonetized. I hope Pearl stays demonetized. I mean, I'm on the side of free speech, but since they're demonetizing people anyway, they're like the last two people I would ever feel sorry for. So, yeah.
But money has nothing to do with free speech, right? Like, she has her free speech. She's just not getting paid for it now.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't have to do business with anyone they don't want to do business with. They can still speak. But yeah, I mean, that's a good point. It's a private business, so they can do what they want.
It feels so good to say that, because that used to be said to me, when I got banned, perma banned off of Twitter for 4 years and 10 months. They would say, well, Twitter is a private business. They can do anything they want. And by the way, I took that like a champ. I was like, yep, they sure can. And now I get to say it. So there's that. Okay. All right, here we go. So let's move over into the Tates before we move into our very, very funny and interesting title about do hoes make better wives. So the Tate, dude, why is it that this is the third episode and every time we are getting updates about the Tates? So this is amazing. So anyway, I want to talk about, let me go to Crayon's thing here. So Crayon has done amazing, and I put the links underneath in the thread here. So it says, so there's a couple of updates. So new documents from Bucharest court show that the Tate brothers have a $9 million contract with Rumble, a streaming platform. If they can prove that some of their recently seized assets were purchased with this money, those assets might be returned. Now, when I read this, I said, $9 million? And you know what I thought? I got a little sad because I said, dude, like, Rumble supports the R-wordists, they support the pimps and women abusers, extreme misogynists who want to who try to dehumanize and take rights from women away. And Kick is filled with pedophiles. So it's like, you can't win for losing, and then you look at YouTube and I'm thinking like, well, YouTube used to have a pedo problem. They seem to have solved that so far. I could be wrong. Anybody can correct me. But the alternate, sorry. I forgot the most important thing. Telegram has a CP problem. Now, I read today that because the CEO got arrested, that they are now clamping down on the CP. They're now clamping down on the doxing. They're now doing what they were supposed to do instead of hiding behind free speech. So it's like those three alternative platforms had major problems with Telegram, with the CP, okay, revenge corn. By the way, I know some of you on Twitter are like, what is she saying? I'm doing this so for my benefit for editing for YouTube. And here you have the pedos on Kick, and then you have the pimps and the abusers and the R-worders on Rumble. So to me, it looks like YouTube is a safer place to be on. And this is one of two stories, so I'm just wanting to get you guys' opinion on that so far. What did you think? Anybody can talk. I don't.
Well, part of YouTube's controls is that it works so well with Google. So, for example, I have parental controls on my child's device, and based on his age settings, they're able to block things on YouTube, even when it's just like a YouTube unrestricted, because you're putting his age in, and then the age is transferring over in the back end when you watch YouTube or whatever, because it asks for a Google account, right? So in that way, it is safer. But he's not allowed on any other platform because they don't offer that same kind of parallel parental control restriction. Because you can create a Google account and lie about the age, right? You can create one for a child, lie about the age, and then he can join any platform. But once you put a child's age into Google, it goes into like this lockdown mode where it affects literally every app that you use that Gmail address for. So in that instance, YouTube is doing a much better job. It's just that these other platforms don't have the established everything that YouTube has, and so their primary objective is free speech, no matter who it is. Like, they don't get political, they don't get criminal. They just provide a platform. That's what Rumble, Kick, and Twitch and stuff are more like. Whereas YouTube, because of the Google attachment, will be more sensitive to that stuff and reporting.
I will say this in reference to Kick that because they did ban when they find out about. Hold on, I got to defend Kick a little bit. When they find out about the pedos, just a little bit, but everything you said, thoughts is dead on. When it comes to a preferable platform, YouTube is king or queen or whatever you want to gender it. When the Kick find a pedophile or any man who has been taking advantage of women, like on the Monkey app, which took over Omega Law, they will ban them. So that is one thing that Kick does that Rumble and Telegram doesn't do. So I will defend Kick, because Zerka, who was proud of, he even labeled himself, a PDF file. He even said so, like with his chest. And they got rid of him. And they got rid of a couple of other guys who were predatory to young girls and exploiting them. So it's like, yeah, or in Discord nonetheless. So yeah, there are Kicks doing something. Okay. Who else want to jump in reference to YouTube versus Rumble, Kick, and Telegram?
I would like to say that one of the questions I see playing out is, and this ties in with Candace too, is free speech and the idea of you won't let me think these things. So politics right now is a lot of guys. You know, you see that divide happening in high school where the girls are going left and the guys are going right. And the guys are like, you won't let me think these things. And so free speech is very tied in weirdly with porn. And it seems to be like the girls right now are having to nag the guys of like, okay, this isn't good for society. And the question is, when are guys going to decide to hold each other to a standard? Because right now it's just the women complaining. And like all over Twitter, I see a lot of guys with the attitude of like, you won't let me have this thing that I want. But there's reasons why civil society decided to not do that. So I'm wondering when it'll kick in for the men.
Well, there's total truth to all of that, and especially when it comes to free speech. When I see the same thing with the left and right, Because like you see, when it comes to that, you have the free speech stuff going back and forth, right? And they have the issues going back and forth, especially when it comes to, like when you look at the controversy with the Tucker Carlson bringing on the weirdo conspiracy guy, right? And everything that he spoke about. And how they say, oh, this is information that's really not available. And I'm like, well, if you're saying it on a platform and you gave them a platform to speak, then obviously you read about it and you read about it in books. So therefore it's available for people to read. It's just about a bunch of jibber jabbish that nobody could give two shits about, because guess what? Excuse my language. It's information that isn't accurate and true. And therefore, it's not widely knowledgeable, because guess what? It's not information. It's all conspiracy theories. And that's why when you finally decide to platform it on Tucker Carlson, and that's why everybody came back and corrected the information, which is what it's all about. And it's not that it's not, we don't sit there and tell you that it's, you can't talk about it. Yeah, you can talk about it, but it doesn't mean that it's accurate information. We're going to come back and tell you it's not accurate information. So you expect you'd be able to talk about whatever you want to talk about. It doesn't mean you're not going to come back and we're not going to correct you on that. And that's the problem. This group of people don't want to be corrected. And that's what I keep seeing over and over again. And it's like these gropers don't want to be corrected, that, hey, your behavior is incorrect. It's like a bunch of children, the toddler who doesn't want to be corrected, and saying, hey, that's incorrect behavior. And that's what I keep seeing over and over and over again.
And also, I will jump in and say these people are hypocrites, because I actually got banned from Nick Fuentes' website. He has it. I won't even say the name of it, but he has his own website. And this was, a few years ago. But my first introduction to him was when he went on You Are Here. And that was the show that Elijah Schaefer was doing with Sydney Watson for a while. And I was like mostly just there for Sydney, actually. But anyway, yeah, I was like, what the heck are these people? And I went there, and actually up until that point, I thought that like white Nazis or whatever, neo-Nazis, I thought, other than a few small groups, I thought they were kind of a myth, because I get called a Nazi, for whatever stupid reasons. And I went there and I was like, wow, y'all are really Nazis. And I started like trolling them, and they banned me. So they're like hypocrites anyway. And that's one reason why I don't really feel bad for them.
They banned you. You must be Queen Troll. I'm actually impressed. I really am impressed. So, wow. Kudos to you, girl. All right. Next, about the Andrew Tate. So we're going to talk about the breaking news that came out. I do believe this came out yesterday. Yeah. Okay. Breaking. DICOT prosecutors intercepted and wiretapped Andrew Tate WhatsApp telephone conversation, including text messages with one of the alleged 15-year-old victims. He is accused of having, I think he was accused, did he rape this young lady, or did he just have sex with her for underage? I'm not too sure.
Well, I mean, with the coercive tactic, it can be considered statutory rape.
Rape.
That might be easier to explain to people outside of Romania, right?
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So accused of having statutory rape with her in attempts to bribe her. He gave, in attempts to bribe her to give false statements to DICOT. He told her he was going to give her 500 euros. He ended up
5,000.
5,000. Thank you for correcting me. 5,000 euros. He ended up giving her 2,500 euros instead, and she went and snitched anyway because she was like,
Because he thought she was on the whole discount plan, and he was wrong. Okay, you
imagine.
can't shortchange a brav. You can shortchange one of your
I
hoes, but you
know.
can't shortchange a brav.
That's
What are
what
you
I thought.
doing?
I'm like, you bribed someone and you shortchanged them, and you're shocked that she snitched on you? Oh my God.
Dude, I'm still laughing. It kills me. You can't listen. There's no 50% off coupons for bravs. I don't care who you are.
I mean, like he wants to come off as a big mafia guy. He's a big like I'm big pimp and this that, and the other. And like you shortchanged a bribe, right? And by the way, I'm kind of glad he's too stupid and arrogant and egotistical to realize that that's another one of his many downfalls is underestimating, most women, right? And now this is why I said they're going to spend the rest of their lives in jail. And I'm definitely glad. I know that they have caused a lot of damage, but I think as long as we teach women and teach daughters and nieces and every little young woman we know how to watch out for predators like Tate, I think that'll prepare them for any seeds that was attached to this tree, because he still has a lot of students that were part of the war room. We don't know all of their identities, so you never know who's being taught these terrible methods into controlling and manipulating and abusing women. So therefore, if we teach women to be on a lookout, that'll protect them as well. Okay, anybody want to chime in? Just jump on in.
Just that guys are going to have a really hard time. Well, I think in general, they're going to have an identity crisis if it hasn't started already. Because here, these guys are bragging about being predators. And they're trying to convince us every day that they're predators. And girls already kind of think that. And
Mm-hmm.
girls already kind of fear that. So it's going to be really hard on their PR and it's sad that this has been presented to a lot of guys, especially on the right, just because I think they're a little extra alienated. But to be fair, I hear that the stats are pretty mixed on who follows Andrew Tate.
What does the stats say so far?
Well, I kind of assume, because I've seen all this red pill stuff that I think is on the right, but Andrew Tate's following, actually, there's a lot of guys who kind of identify as the left, and the races are mixed. Like there's this stereotype about like the creepy white serial
Oh
killers or whatever,
no. He has a huge black male following. That goes across the board with the red pill, the manosphere, as well as Andrew Tate. So yeah, that's definitely I knew that part already.
Yeah, and actually I think that's very deliberate. It's very deliberate. So like let's say the way I look at politics is not right versus left, but like the ruling class versus all of us. And I feel like there's a line of thinking that they want you to embrace. And anybody who's outside that line of thinking, they want to sabotage that. So I think people started to ask questions. People of all races started to notice like, okay, life is weird, the economy is weird, everything's weird right now. And then I feel like people in a lot of different ethnicities were kind of, this Andrew Tate stuff was kind of fed to them, just like the manosphere was fed to them as, okay, you're a weirdo, you're an outsider here, but you fit in with me, and I can't even blame them for looking for a home, but it's pretty toxic.
I think personally, they're going to have a huge PR problem coming up because they were sold as if he was completely innocent and that these were complete and total lies and that all there were no victims and Thoughts and I were completely into it. Like we read a lot of this information way ahead of time, so I knew. We all said coming down the pike, not only is there going to be more victims, but then on top of it, now there's going to be a money laundering coming down the pike. There's going to be more from the UAE. There's going to be more coming down. There's probably going to be tax evasion coming. There's going to be all kinds of stuff coming down the pike. And we said all of this up front because we were reading not only the indictment, but we were reading all the messages that they were saying. We saw all of this stuff coming down. I want to say I think it was almost a year and a half, 18 months, 2 years ago almost, when we first started these discussions. And, we kept trying to tell people, like, no, what they're saying is total lies. They're just trying to steal people's money. And for these young kids and these people who were continuously investing into the Tates, and that's all they were doing. And that's what we kept trying to tell these people. That's all he wanted to do. It was no different. That's all he was. It was a marketing scheme. That's all it was a pyramid scheme. And all of these young men were buying into it. He was not trying to help them in any way, straight, or form. He just wants to steal your money. Besides, create this toxic environment, which men on the right especially already has this entire toxic environment on top of it already. They already have a bad gig. They have a hard enough time trying to attract women to the Republican side already, right? And the women that they try to have, they're having a hard enough time trying to keep. So now you try to invite this man who brings nothing but toxic masculinity that just completely ruins even more. And that ended up causing more conflict and more problems than it helped. So now you have even more, and come to find out, guess what? We're right. And it caused more problems. So I don't understand why you would embrace that. It's just no different than what happened with the Russian, with the Tim Pool stuff and all the other crap that happened that just came down the pole. Like, thanks a lot. Now you just kind of like hurt the Republican Party even more, So like, it's things like this that does not help at all why they try to embrace these people just because they have a large platform and they're a large influencer.
Well said. Well said. Okay, Lisa, go ahead.
I would actually like to read aloud. This is from Agent Attervid on X, the text message exchange between the Tate brothers. The first part sounds kind of gay, but anyway.
Oh, wait. If you're going to read the entire, you're talking, because I was going to read that, but if you're going to read it, go right ahead. You're talking about where it says Dicot presented evidence. You're talking about that tweet?
Yes.
Go ahead and read all of that. It's so good. Okay, read the whole entire tweet.
Okay, I was just going to read the quotes, but if you want me to read the whole thing. Yeah, Dicot presented evidence in this case, text messages seemingly showing that the Tate brothers knew that what they were doing was quote unquote pimping, and they knew it could get them into trouble with the law. Tristan even compared his situation. Oh, this is a good part. Tristan even compared his situation to that of Alex Bodie, a man currently on house arrest in Romania on charges of sex trafficking, child rape, and child pornography. An associate of theirs suggests forming an NGO/charity so they can get a suspended sentence. Quote, furthermore, it was highlighted that Andrew and Tristan identify themselves with the notion of pimps, fully aware that their lover boy recruitment method essentially makes them true pimps. So, quote from Andrew Tate, I guess this was a text to Tristan. I want you to, but maybe I'll run my pimping empire without anyone whining. I need to put out with my gangsters to do pimping, to be a boss. I'll continue, these are like separate sentences, but I'll continue being a pimp. I'll do it if you'd let me be a pimp. I'm still a pimp for fun. And Tristan Tate says, but I need to get to Romania to be the pimp of some horse. Pimping got me and my brother out of the ghetto. I need to take, did they grow up in the ghetto? I don't know. I need to take pimping seriously. Now, I'll focus only on pimping, baby. I'm not sure if I should adopt the merciless pimping method and beat these stupid girls. You keep the website running, I'll maintain the pimping. End quote. Being aware of the criminal activities they were involved in, the members of the organized criminal group, and they are being charged with organized crime, did not exclude the possibility of being held criminally accountable at some point. So Tristan Tate again says, so shut the hell up before you get me arrested because of you. You can't get mad and start writing to me about how I did illegal things. I could get in trouble like Alex Bodie, end quote. Andrew Tate says, and what if they come after us at some point, but we have black money, they will raise suspicions. Does that mean bribe money? I don't know. But, and then
dark money.
Yeah. And then an associate of them says, I told you not to let them catch you for pimping. When they catch you for pimping, at least make sure you come off well with an NGO to get a suspended sentence. Like these are the kings of self-snitching right here. And like, let's not forget they had Hustlers University where they were literally teaching men how to pimp women. I mean, this is also out in the open. That is crazy. And you know what's really funny is all of the like Tate simps who they really think he's gonna get away with it. I'm like, he's not. Dicot has a very high conviction rate, and they're going away for a long time. It's gonna be hilarious. I'm gonna celebrate. I'm gonna pop champagne and I'm gonna celebrate. And yeah, his simps are gonna be crying hard.
Not only they're gonna do a lot of like I said, I predict 20 years in Romania, and then I don't know how many years they're going to do in England, excuse me, the UK. And then, but I do know right when they're in the UK, America going to want their money and they're going to file charges. So they're going to have to spend some time in America. These guys, their freedom, and maybe that's the reason why, I could be wrong. The Bucharest judicial system is like, these guys are going to spend the rest of their lives in jail, so let them be on house arrest, let them be, in the confines of Romania, because they'll never see the light of day once they're found guilty.
Okay, so first off, can we all thank Andrew Tate for making men go to the gym? Because literally that's the only good thing he's ever said. Secondly, thank you for being the hugest piece of crap that we've ever seen, so that brings out all the other pieces of crap that agree with you and we can identify them. So thank you, okay?
Yes.
The Tates bring all the tarts to the yard, okay? So we know where they are and we can shoot them all in one place. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew Tate. You're the bestest. You're a top G. All right? Goof. So yeah, I think you know how I feel, Tree. I just want to mock him until he goes to prison, because I'm like, not only are you dumb, but literally everybody that follows you is dumb. Like, thank you for it's a self-identification, right? It's like racist. Just let them be racist, okay? They want to stand in their driveway and grumble at black people. Let them do it.
Yeah.
Okay, but until they do something about it, until they get some rope or a gun, just let them grumble, You let them be them until they do something about it. And then we put them in jail. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel sorry for all these disaffected men that are following him either, because yeah, like you said, the only, good advice that he's given is, go to the gym, be productive and stuff like that. But then this is someone who doesn't even have a real job. Like, he's telling men be productive and this and that, but by what? Teaching them how to be pimps. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even a realistic, and also he is classifying that as escaping the matrix. Okay, so you're escaping the matrix of what? A normal life of having a job, paying bills, doing what most people do. You're escaping that by being a pimp. So he's saying that his freedom is based on women's slavery. Mm-hmm. And this is basically an idea that is really embedded into the whole red pill and manosphere, is that men's, in their minds, it's like men's, whether it's, trad or however they're looking at it, it's like men's freedom has to be built on women's subjugation. Like, that's what they consider freedom. If we're free, they see that the fact that they have to negotiate with us and this and that and be on an equal footing and deal with all that, they see that as some type of slavery to them. Like, their idea of freedom is they have us subjugated.
They hate that they need us in every way, and we can 100% live without them.
Yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to say to Lisa, on behalf of the manosphere, are you saying that being a pimp is not a full-time job? Because, girl, they are out there working hard.
They're hustling day in and day out, hustling.
Well, you see, the Tates are always on their devices and laptops, okay? And so when they say they're working, that means if they're not doing a podcast, PR, whatever, they're gaming somebody. They're scamming somebody. And it, whether the webcam is still going or not, it's crypto, was Forex, it's whatever they can scam people. That's it.
Funny.
That's
it's
their
funny
job.
you say that. I did see a clip of Andrew Tate. You know how they are always on their devices, and a big thing of the manosphere is how like men are out on oil rigs, right? Like that's how they all make
Yeah.
their money, and the women are staying home mopping and being lazy and fat while the men are on oil rigs. But I saw Andrew Tate do this clip of stretches for when your shoulders cave because you're on your laptop too long. So yeah, that's where he's at. He's at his laptop.
Oh God. Yeah,
Fruit,
they love to
fruitiest
say, yeah,
alpha
we
male I
built
ever
things.
saw, eh?
We
He's
built
so
we built the
fruity.
bridges, we built the infrastructure. And I go, y'all didn't build nothing. You guys are just online talking crap. You ain't built. What did you build?
They're on Grindr, figuring out bathrooms to meet up at.
They put some IKEA furniture together. Don't overlook that.
Yeah, they unload the dishwasher, ladies. They need flowers.
Okay. All right.
The,
And
the men who are building stuff are not online. They're outside working, and when they get home, they're exhausted, and they don't like sit there and talk on the phone. No, they're
true.
in their chair. They're watching some TV. They eat, and they go take a shower, and they go to bed because they have to wake up at 5 a.m. the next morning and go back to work because that's what men do.
Real men do.
That's what
That's
real
right.
men do.
Yes. Yes. This is the reason why I don't really respect a lot of these men that have come into my space. Especially, have y'all noticed? I was going to make a comment about this. And if you haven't noticed, just watch it from now on, okay? Because trust me, even if they're listening to me right now, they can't help themselves. Whenever I make a post that says, hey, ladies, I will start off with ladies. Guess who the first people to respond? Men. They can't help themselves. They love to say, look at me, tree. Look at me. I'm like, and then who am I arguing with more is with them in my daggone replies. And so I say to myself, why are you not at work? Why are you not digging a hole? Why are you not improving
Ask them
sanitation
if they're
facilities?
trans. Are you trans? Do you self-identify as a lady? Get
Oh,
the
that's
F
good.
off.
I like
Get the
that.
F off my comments, man.
You just like seriously, you guys are like, you can't help yourself. All right. And it's like, you want to take credit.
This is
for
not
what
the
other men
bathroom for
do.
you. Get out.
True. So it's like, you want to take credit for what other men's accomplishments, but you don't want to take credit for other men's crimes. Like, that's what's going on with that. So if you don't take credit for other men's crimes, then don't take credit for other men's accomplishments. Okay. And speaking of crime, so the last thing I want, this was a big Andrew Tate news day. So in reference to Vivian, like what these people are constantly, his supporters are constantly saying that she was not underage. She was not a minor. And turn out that once again, they snitched. They provided evidence. I'm going to read this again by Murdered with Crayons. You can find it in the Jumbotron above or in the thread below. So I'm going to read this from his tweet. Dicot has evidence that Andrew Tate started exploiting Vivian at the age of 17 in 2014. The infamous belt beating video was filmed in 2012. Her home country has confirmed her age via her letters. A scathing new document has been released from the Bucharest court detailing the circumstances of the victims in the second Romanian case. Vivian's age was corroborated by witnesses, chat messages, and data, international letters, regulatory, I think that's how you pronounce that word. The webcam company has cooperated with Dicot to provide information regarding the account and tokens earned. Her cam account was created when she was 17 years old. This is one of the previous accounts where she worked, and he shows the account. So therefore, he did meet her and had sex with her at the age of 15, and then put her in the adult entertainment at the age of 17. And then also on Murder with Crayons account, he states that in what is this? It's this. I'm reading something where he says, "Child shall mean any person under 18 years of age." Thoughts? Is this thoughts and sharing? Is this coming from Romania or the EU or what? Let me put it in the thread. So you can see what I'm talking about.
Is this the second post in the thread with the yellow highlighting?
Yeah, yes, with the yellow and the green and the pink underneath of it.
Okay, so sorry, what was the question again?
The question is that the term for the EU too, or Romania, or is that just is that either Romania only or the EU, or I guess that's what I'm trying to ask.
I think it says released from the Bucharest court, so that would be
Oh,
Romania.
I didn't even read that. I'm
No, I was confused, right? Because I'm like, okay, so the court will only use evidence that will help
no.
prove their claim,
Wait.
right? Okay.
Wait. Where it says Article 3, use of terms for the purpose of this protocol. Okay, we're looking at two different things. I'm sorry. Where it says A, trafficking in person shall mean the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, or receipt of a person by means of threat or use of force or other forms of coercion or of abduction, of fraud, of deception, of the power of abuse of power, or of a position of vulnerability, or of the giving or receiving of payments or benefits to achieve the consent of a person living, blah, blah, blah. And then you go to, so they give A, B, and C, and then D is the last part where it says child shall mean any person under 18 years of age. I'll go ahead and put this in the thread as well, so other people can see what I'm reading.
Yeah, because I don't know what slide we're on, Professor. I'm the one in the back with the sunglasses who just woke up in class. Okay.
Yeah. I was like, we're reading two different things. Okay, I just posted underneath my alt account Amazon Bodyguard, so it's underneath there. And
yeah,
so
I got it now.
Okay, there you go. Okay, great. So my question to everyone on the panel is that now it has been confirmed without a shadow of a doubt that he groomed Vivian, got her at the age of 15, had sex with her, and her mom passed away. So she's coming from abandonment issues along with low self-esteem issues, all kind of things. He basically took advantage of her vulnerability and then put her in the sex industry that Romania can actually prove. I have a funny feeling she was in it before, maybe in 16, but they can prove based upon this website, this sex webcam site, that she was 17, which is underneath the age of which is still considered minor, or according to Romania, considered to be a child.
Right, and where the tater tots get, I know you hate that because I know you use that, but with the Tate bros, right, they get confused between age of consent and age of majority. That's where their brain is not connecting. Because in Slovakia, yes, the age of consent was 15 at the time. So Vivian could consent to a relationship with a then 25, 26-year-old Tate. Okay, so that's above board in terms of not statutory rape. No, I think maybe there's a problem with the Romeo and Juliet laws, but they don't pursue it unless like a parent complains. Where Tate gets into trouble is putting her on camera under the age of 18. And so while a lot of people are just morally disgusted by his consensual relationship with a 15-year-old, legally, he is in trouble for putting her on camera at 17, which has been globally agreed, 18 plus, to contract and to do any kind of pornographic material. So if he had just waited until she was 18, this would not be an issue. Morally disgusting, but not illegal.
Well, I think part of the problem with this whole conversation with consent, I mean, whether it's age of consent or how consent works, is when the frame of thinking is how can I get away with as much as possible without getting in trouble? When that's the way that they're approaching it or the way that they're thinking about it, then we have a problem in the first place. You know what I mean? Like that shouldn't even be your approach or your way of thinking toward women and girls, and how much can I get away with? How far can I push it? How can I walk the line and not get injured? That's how you end up with guys like Sneeko making arguments about, well, what's the difference between 18 and 17? It's like, well, then what's the difference between 17 and 16? And eventually it goes all the way down to 0. Like obviously there's a line somewhere, but then the problem is having the mentality of how to walk the line as much as possible. That's already a predator mentality, if that's like your frame of thinking,
Like edging.
So something kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah, they're doubling down. They're just doubling down. So the charges for their audience, the charges make them look like a hero because that's their dream. So that's like us getting arrested for being too hot. Like this is their dream, their ultimate dream, to like kind of act as a predator for vulnerable girls. And of course, there's a lot of weak, insecure people there looking for somebody weaker to prey upon, right? So this is their fantasy. So this just gives him more street cred, unfortunately. And they're just going to have that problem that girls already are seeing a predator problem. And the more they double down on it, and again, like you said about Sneeko, the guys are doubling down like, oh, but I want to find the line. I want to find the line. And the girls are pushing back and saying, well, there is a line. But where are the guys going to kick in and say, okay, there is a line at which we don't want our children assaulted? That remains to be seen.
Just a reminder to those who are old enough to remember a show called Full House, where they had the little twins, and apparently at some point the men started a countdown till they were 18 and therefore quote unquote
Yes, it was
effable.
so disgusting. They had a
And-
website dedicated just to that.
And the fact that people didn't outcry then, right? Like you're literally, it's like maybe you're a meat eater, right? So it's countdown to slaughter day. But who benefits the most on slaughter day? The eater, okay? So when, even when men who say, well, the girl was dressing provocatively, she seemed older than her age. And I'm like, yeah, but see, you definitely are the adult in this situation. You have experience, and you should have at that point, I think, some form of maturity and self-control to say, you know what? Thank you. Very, very nice that you've made the offer, but I have to decline because it's not appropriate. It's not that you're not attractive. And when you get to be, of legal age or whatever, you're going to be some guy's lucky girlfriend. But never mind. You know what I mean? Like, at some point for ourselves, we have to be like, you know what? Sure, May, December can work for a lot of people, but they have to both be mature. There has to be like a minimum of life experience to say, yeah, there's nothing else I really want to change about my life, including like having babies or whatever that, is impacted by a May, December age gap. But the older person should always be the one that says, you know what, that's not appropriate behavior. I'm not sure if you're 18. You got a dad around. You just need a male in your life that'll treat you good and not have an agenda. Because if you're just looking for positive male attention, that's what it can give you. Let's go shoot some hoops or something, right? No sexy stuff. The adults have to draw the line. And I wish there was better men out there doing that with these younger girls.
Yeah, well, and keep in mind that these same red pill guys and guys who support Tate are the same men who are saying that men are protectors and providers, and actually that we don't need rights, we don't need all this feminist stuff or civil rights because men are protectors and providers, when really it was feminists who campaigned for age of consent laws and things like that. We've always needed to have a voice to protect ourselves and to protect girls. And if you're having a protective attitude, then exactly, you should, no matter how she's dressed or what, you shouldn't see a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old as someone you can exploit sexually, knowing that young people, sometimes are not smart and don't know what they're doing and like might be coming from a traumatic background, might not have the parental love or guidance that a kid should have. Yeah, you should see a 16 or 17-year-old girl as someone you can play basketball with or someone you can mentor, not someone you can, have sex with or put up on OnlyFans. And by the way, these are also the same guys who will refer to a female teacher as a pedophile if she has sex with a 16 or 17-year-old male student, they'll be like, well, female pedophiles, but yet they will excuse Andrew Tate. So that's another, obviously both are wrong, but that's another huge contradiction. These guys are just full of contradictions, basically. It's really the only consistency. The fact that they just hate women is like pretty much the only consistency and the only unifying thing that makes it all make sense. Otherwise, it really doesn't make any sense.
Lisa, they
That
also
they're
do
ugly,
agree. They also agree that being a pimp is a full-time job.
Well, see, that's the thing, right? Even that hot for teacher thing is very waived and excused and even celebrated by some men, like, oh, lucky kid or whatever. And I'm like, listen, back in the day when fathers used to take their 13, 14-year-old boys to a whorehouse, okay, that might have been okay. I don't agree with that either. But, you know, times have changed. And children, I think, should be allowed to be children as long as they have a teen behind their age, where they don't have adult responsibilities or consequences unless they do something that requires them. And, you know, because they've got like 60 to 80 years to be a burdened grown up. You know, the last thing I think adults should be doing is try to, like, you know, unvirgin them as early as possible. It can be a trauma. It can create a trauma in that person. Not that they completely regret what happens, but that it just literally happened too soon. That they wish they had shared that one-time experience with someone that means something to them and that they mean something to. You know? So anyway, I'll land it there because I don't know how much longer she wants to go.
No, Sharon, no, we can still talk a little bit, and because we're going to go to the next favorite topic that Haley Wood will basically lead. So go ahead, Sharon.
No, the only thing I wanted to say on the manosphere is that they're just a bunch of ugly men who constantly complain about the women they cannot have. So that's essentially what I see them all as. So that was my entire spiel when it comes to look at, when I see them, that's what I see, is a bunch of men who could never get the a woman, and therefore they're all bitching and complaining that they can't get them. And that's just that. And, you know, we're all hoes because, you know, we get the men that we want, and they're bitching and complaining that, yeah, I can get the man I want. I'm sorry. And I want that man, and I don't want the hell your ugly ass. And you're absolutely right. So you can go over there and go complain, and I'm going to go over here and go get the guy I want.
Stop telling me I'm not good enough by not having sex with me. Wah.
Speaking of we are hoes, let me say, first of all, I uploaded, I'm going to do better justice and make a single tweet promoting the clean version of Jasmine's and I interview for a little thing I'm doing for women in the industry and men. I think I'm also going to allow men to talk to me in reference to the industry. It's called Hookers, Hoes, and 304s, right? Hooker whores and 304s, right? And so we were talking about how I admired her for embracing the slur that men would call her to shame her, to shame her for feeling bad for being beautiful and using her body to become a millionaire, right? And so I said, yo, girl, I noticed that when it didn't faze you, this is what I said. And I put the link to the interview in the description box. Please feel free to go look at it and listen to it. It's really good. It was so good. And I said, I remember when Marquette was, he kept calling you a prostitute and you just sat there unfazed. And he did it 2 more times and nothing happened. And then when he didn't get a reaction out of you, he went on and stopped calling you that, but he started, you know, going after Farha, right? Because she's the quiet one. And I said, you know, I'm doing that too. It's like these guys, you know, they know I'm a dominatrix, a dom and a pro-dom. And they're like, well, you're a whore. And when people hear that, they thinking I'm like selling my body, which is not the case. But I said, so instead of just like saying, I don't sell my body, I just go, yep, I'm a whore. Yep, I'm a prostitute. Yep, I just agree with it. Yep, I'm a whore. And I saw it work in real time with Myron, homosexual, closeted, gains, right? He went under the Fresh and Fit account and said, "You're a dumb whore." Who gives it? Because if you go to the tweet where you have the white supremacists that called him the N-word with the hard R, right? And I said, I don't go to places I'm not wanted. And I also avoid places where, I'm not supposed to belong. And because Myron has a identity crisis, he hates blacks, he hates being black, and he identify with the white supremacists because they too hate blacks, but they also hate the Jews. He feels that as long as he keeps attacking black people and attacking Jews, that they will consider him an honorary Aryan or honorary white person. So he keeps inserting himself into these white spaces. And I basically put it on blast, like, dude, like this guy he's just pathetic. So he goes into his Fresh and Fit account and he calls me, he says, "You're a dumb whore," right? And shows one of my badass pictures. Like, dude, like I don't understand. Like, I'm not saying don't show any of bad pictures of me in domination, but there are no bad pictures of me in domination because I put all those pictures. I put my best ones on the internet. And I said, yes, I'm a whore. And you wish you were a whore too, Myron. That's why you envy us. You want to be a whore. You want to sell your body. You want to basically get all the ding-a-ling that you can see. All right. But you're jealous of us. That's why you're constantly attacking us. And poof, he stopped. Then he signed into Angie's account, pretending, because I want you guys to understand, I put it in my timeline. Angie has 2 accounts. One of them she locked down. That's her real account. Myron bought this account so that he can attack other women under using her, because he's been catching a lot of a pushback, because it's very effeminate for a man every damn day to attack women. That's all he does. Yeah, you're a whore. Look at you, you slut. Get off the internet. You bitches. You. Oh God, that's cursed again. Okay, you heifers. All y'all. Well, he don't say heifers. You bees. All y'all do is take off your clothes. He's obsessed with the beauty of women, which makes me proud, because I'm like, first of all, I look at the women that he's attacking. I'm like, wow, go ahead, work it, girl. And I end up being a fan. But, he signed underneath her account and then began to like call me a orangutan or something like that. And then I said, hey, girl, because I knew it was him. But if you see that account use perfect English, that's not Angie. That's Myron. Myron is using that account, right? Angie is from Venezuela. She doesn't use perfect English like that. So, but I pretended it was her. And I said, hey, girl, I need to ask you a question. Whore to whore. Why didn't you answer the question about your body count? And once again, these people leave. So I just want you all to know is that it works. I know some of you all feel like it's insulting, and it is insulting. But for me, I am a professional domina. If they want to call me a hooker, a prostitute, a whore, a hoe, 304, it's okay. Okay. One thing I am is paid. And because of that minor interaction from Myron, I got $635. I'm going to screen cap it, because there are simps, there are pay pigs that follow Myron. And if they are attracted to the women that he attacked, they go either into their OF page and sign up, or they go to their Cash App. I don't have a Cash App. I don't have an OF. I just have my link above because I'm not monetized anymore because I refuse to give my government ID. They literally go in there and give me money saying, I'm sorry what Myron did to you, but I would love to get a spanking. I can't wait to show you guys this. I'm like, whoa, I got paid and I didn't even come on their show. So anyway, I said all that to say is that Haley Wood came up with she showed a very good text from our honorary brother Alexander, and I'm gonna let her read the tweet and then start the discussion on, do hoes make better housewives?
Ooh, I don't have it in front of me. Does anybody?
Yeah, it's on. Can you put it in the jumbotron? Or if I can read it if you want me to,
Yeah,
because
you go ahead.
go ahead. Okay, so I'm gonna read it and then you go ahead and start the discussion. So Alexander, and it's in the thread. If anybody's listening to this post show or currently, it's in the thread. So there's a woman named Morgan. I love her, by the way. She says Nala. Everybody knows Nala. Nala used to be the redhead woman who had an OF page, and even I went after her because I was like, girl, as long as you got that OF page up, I'm not going to believe anything you say. Once she took the OF page down, I was like, okay, maybe she is going of the way of the Lord. Okay. So that's the reason why I didn't believe that she was really converting to Christianity or she was really a sincere Christian, because she does a lot of trolling. And I was like, as long as that OF page is still up, I'm not buying what you're selling. So Morgan says, Nala gave her life to Jesus, gave up porn, and married a man of God who clearly loves her unconditionally, and everybody casts their stones at her. This is what the sanctification process looks like. And so Alexander says, I have seen zero evidence beyond the occasional anecdote that high past promiscuity really stop women from forming future relationships. In the sample, I took women past the age of 30 who had more past partners were more likely to be in a committed relationship than women with fewer past partners. Men with more past sexual partners were also more likely to be in a relationship, but their female partners also had more past sexual partners. I was like, okay, this is very interesting. Consistent with past research on assertive mating for social sexuality. This will make a lot of men seethe. You can see them in the comments because they would love to believe that there is some sort of inevitable punishment for being promiscuous. There is probably some penalty in the dating market, but it's relatively minor. So Haley, before you take it away, I guess what he's saying is that people with sexual with medium to a high sexual counter partners, or shall I say people with high or medium to high body count like to have good relationships with other people who are medium high body count. That's like I think that's like the tweet that Lisa posted from Alexander that shows virgins like virgins or virgins prefer virgins. And it seems that when the red pill community say that don't turn a hoe into a housewife, it looks like hoes turn out to be good housewives. Wait, is that what I'm reading?
Yeah, well, you know what? It actually makes sense to me that people who date more, have sex more, are also more likely to actually be in a relationship. You know, that completely makes sense to me. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this red pill narrative is just false. Like, if you're a woman who wants to save your virginity for marriage and all of that, you know, I support that, and I'm definitely not saying you can't find a man that way or whatever, but more often I'm seeing the opposite complaints, like women who are saving their virginity either because, you know, they're religious and they're waiting for marriage, or they're just understandably cautious of men or whatever. Even women in religious communities are like guys who say they're religious. It's like if you're not having sex with them after a certain amount of time, they're out, they're leaving. And I'm not saying that any woman should ever have sex to keep a man, but it actually makes sense to me that people who are sexually active would get into relationships easier than people who aren't sexually active. And in today's world, and, you know, if you want to consider that a problem, men are absolutely just as much a part of the problem, if not more so. I mean, as a woman, you know that in any new relationship, well, not always, but, you know, it's always like men who are getting for sex. So, I don't know how they're blaming women for this. It's such a retarded argument to, especially when it comes to sex, it's such a retarded argument to blame women for the current state of affairs, whatever you make of it. But anyway, I'm going to leave it at that because I have to go get ready for work. But everyone had really great thoughts today. Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. And also thanks for coming. I appreciate you. Okay. Go ahead, Haley. Take it away.
Oh, I'm so passionate on this. I'm so pro ho, honestly. And actually, I think you could do a whole hour on this fetish that they have, because I don't think women understand, or at least it takes us a lot to understand the power of this in their minds, because we don't have this same drive. But like, you could do an hour on the jealousy and the contradictions, because the political right, they spend so much time shaming women for exactly what it is that they desire. Their deepest desire is the freaky hoe, and they are enraged that they can't access it. And then on the surface, they put all this shame on girls, like, you're leading me on with that skirt. You know, you would. There's even on Sundays, I see shaming of girls, like they post their church outfits, and the guys are like, oh, that's too short, that's too sexy. Like, you're a secret whore. They absolutely love it. And I would just say, I agree with everything Lisa said. And then whores have the patience to be there. They actually like the guys. I actually don't have the patience to do a lot of what the whores are willing to do. I give them total credit. And like, when women and men get married, women have this whole other idea of what marriage is about, right? But when the sex stops, then that's when the men are like, wait a minute, what train did I get on? I'm here to have sex. That's what this is for. That's the only reason I got married. And for women, that's a revelation, because we're like, wait, I thought we were going to build a life. I thought we were going to visit Kentucky. And the guys are like, this contract is about sex. I don't think women understand the power of this. And it is absolutely hilarious that you're owning it and running with it. And honestly, I think this is a revelation for a lot of women.
Yeah, because when she and I were talking, oh God, girl, you just made me realize something. Because when Jasmine and I was talking on that interview, we were bragging how we love sex, right? And I was like, girl, sometimes, I like to catch my husband off guard and then just take it. And she's like, yeah, and I went and got this injection to have more orgasm. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? And when you said the contract is about having sex, I'm like, oh, so if a woman is just wanting to build a life, she just wants to have kids and then have a legacy to where they can build a future together, the nice house, the PTA meetings, this and the other. And he's like, we haven't had sex in 2 days, then it's going to be a problem, versus women like she and I, who, like have the mind, because we are alpha. We do have that masculine mentality like a man, that where our sex drive is high and we like sex. That's the reason why we are okay. But I got married. I don't know if she's going to get married, but she's in an open one-in relationship where she gets to have sex with as many men as she wants, while her boyfriend stays monogamous to her. So for you to say that just was a revelation to me, Haley. So thank you.
I actually talked to a guy on here with a cuck fetish, and the political right, they'll deny it all day long. They're full of contradictions and lies, but the truth is, like, they have a major cuck fetish. And I talked to a guy. I was like, okay, explain this to me. He did explain it to me. He was like, this is the best thing ever. I can't wait to marry this girl.
A what? A cock fetish?
He was obsessed. He's like, this girl is the best thing that ever happened to me. And it ties in with humiliation. And then when they fat shame people and they think that's flirting, I'm like, oh no, this is why humans are going to go extinct.
Yeah. This is so interesting. And the thing about it is that, and when you said these guys look at it sexually, like, you're a whore, you're a slut. It's like, I can hear the excitement in voice, I can hear how they're very stimulated and they are getting aroused by calling a woman a whore, calling her a slut, except for Myron Gaines, who's a homosexual. He is attacking women to get them out of the way because he finds us to be a threat. He finds us to be competition. And he feels that if he attack us, this is going to cause men to say, you're right, Myron. I don't like these women in their big titties and that nice butt and those, that moistness between their legs. Ew, yucky. You're right. Vaginas are gross. This is he said vaginas are disgusting. Excuse me.
Female vaginas.
Wait a minute.
Like there's some other kind out there,
what
right?
kind of other vagina is there?
Okay.
Oh my God. I just now caught that. Really? Dude,
Listen. In the interview, he literally says female
You're
vaginas.
right. He does say female vagina,
right?
and I didn't even think about he talking about pussy. I didn't think he was comparing. You're right. He's comparing pussy.
Right. He says female vagina. He's got a poodle in the house. Draw your own conclusions, ladies.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's constantly attacking women and talking. Like I said, Myron envies us to the point where he hates us. Okay, because when you look at him with those masculine features, he can't be trans, especially with that big old beak on his face. Like, it's over for him.
He even wears a weave like us. He get it glued on.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And he had a nerve to talk about black women, saying, black women wear weave. Excuse me, N-word. You have weave glued to the top of your head. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You literally have because people saying that he has a hair transplant. No, he doesn't. I showed a video. Go to my highlights. I literally show you how he has hair. By the way, you can't, if he did have a hair transplant, let me tell you something about hair. You can't change the texture of your hair. So if you have 4C hair, you can't have next day get a hair transplant and then have 4A hair. And if anybody knows what I'm talking about, he has coarse. Yeah, he has the most coarse hair ever, right? And now he got waves. I'm sorry, the human body doesn't work that way. So if he literally got a hair transplant, which he doesn't, he would still have coarse hair all over his head. What he has is that's the top part and the side part of his head is shaved, and then they put the weave. I showed the entire. Maybe I need to go get it. As a matter of fact, when somebody talk, I'm going to go get it so you all see how he has waves in his hair. That's not how the body works. That's not how scalps work. That's not how the hair works. Anyway, so he can't talk about black women having weaves and wigs when he has one glued to the top of his head. By the way, I have my natural hair. Everybody knows these are dreadlocks. So he can't talk about me and my hair. By the way, I have no problem with wigs. I told you guys my favorite wigs are my Afro wigs and my Donna Summer wigs. I love them, okay? But I'm too lazy to put them on, so I stay with my natural hair. But the thing about it is that the men attacking whores, the men attacking women in the industry, it is their desire. They sexually want us. Because I bet you if every woman that these men call whores say, you know what, I am whore, daddy, come over here and get it. They'll be over there, pew, right over there, faster than lightning. Okay, sorry, go ahead. I'm going to go get this. I'm going to go get that highlight so you guys can see how Myron gets his hair done.
Abba's impression is, I love it. Every time he puts that little wig on and he's doing his impression, boys being boys, I lose it. I'm on the floor. I love his wig.
I do think there's something to gathering all this rage and contempt for women and getting them to like guys instead. I think what we might find 100 or 200 years from now is that biology and sex is a lot more elastic than Byron. It's a lot more elastic than we think, and that men's sexual desires they can be redirected or they can change shape or whatever. And I do think we're going to see this tidal wave of men who have been turned off of women running straight to the arms of Myron.
Wait a minute, what did you say? What did you say?
She's talking about the gay pill.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I was halfway paying attention because I just posted the thing about how Myron gets his hair, how he get his hair did. So if you guys can you post that in the nest for me, thoughts? Thanks. So this is how he gets his hair done. So I know it's going to be difficult for some women because you take the title prostitute, whore, slut, 304. You take it as an insult, and you should. But if you understand the mentality of these men, they're doing this to shame you. Just like these women who, and no, I have to say women because it's not allowed with men. So you have these women who are in the fat acceptance movement, who are morbidly obese, and they say, yep, I love my fat. So if you call them fat, it doesn't work. It doesn't, because they love being fat. So people don't call them fat anymore because it's not working. These men call women these derogatory names to insult you, to make you angry, to hurt your feelings. But, I'm so glad I talked to Jasmine. And when we begin to have that talk about saying, yeah, embrace being called these names. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because in the end, you get paid. And for me to get paid over $600 just for him calling me a dom whore. And I'm going, yep, I'm a dom whore. And you wish you was a whore too. That's why you're jealous of us. I got money from his simp. I got money from his simps. I got money from his simps because he called me a whore. If that's the case, call me a whore every freaking day, okay? It's this. I literally got to experience what the women that come on the Fresh and Fit show experienced, and I am like so excited and hope that he comes and call me a whore again, okay? Because I've been looking at a nice outfit, and it's going to be costing like a good 5 digits, and I'm gonna need that money, Sharon, do you want to have anything to say about this?
I just think it's that when she made the comment about the guys moving more towards the gays, I think it has a lot to do with the porn that they watch too, and the cock fetish. So I literally had to laugh because the amount of porn that a lot of men watch, I think that has increased that drive, right? And mushed them over to a lot of that, because a lot of, especially the men who follow the manosphere and all of that side, like they watch a lot of porn, which has then made it to that where they end up having those fetishes, and it's increased that fetish even more. But you're absolutely right, though. They would all go to the whore within 10 seconds. We all know this, which is why they all call us that. So it is what it is.
Yeah, just I know it's going to be difficult because some women take it personally. And I'm telling you, if you just agree with them, it deflates them. They have nothing else to attack you with. And by the way, put some kind of payment link in your bio, so when the pay pigs follow Myron as he call you a whore or 304, make sure you get paid in the process. You did absolutely nothing but be you. Your existence is what he hates, and that's getting you paid indirectly. So it's amazing. But okay,
let's buy me a coffee on mine.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
We're going to add the coffee stuff.
Now, see, my motto. Have a motto that my opinion is free, but arguments are $500.
Oh, right, girl.
Ooh.
So Haley, the tweet that Alexander was responding to, it was reference to the young lady Nala. When I look at her and I see that she's making an effort, and I see that she's so in love with this guy, and I see how the guys are just so angry. And Sharon made a very good point in reference to porn. It's really damaging a lot of these men, right? So do you think that, and this is going to be bold for me to say, but do you think that these men will look at that relationship and say, maybe I will have a successful relationship with a woman who's in that industry, especially OF, or will they just continue going on with the try to win those women over, which never works, by humiliating them and attacking them by calling them derogatory names.
I noticed they're very in denial of themselves and the truth about what they actually want. And they seem very obsessed with covering it over with lies. And they're so tangled up, right? Because they think their moms would be disappointed. And really, that's the number one driver behind a lot of what they do. And they're like, how do they admit to their mom that all they really want is a whore? I think they're going to be tangled up for literally like 500 years and we'll all be transhuman by then.
Listen, I know when my ex-husband brought me home for the first time, it was a huge middle finger to his family. I knew my place, but I played the role very well. And then when it was time to get a divorce, here's your letter.
All right, I hear that. You know what I'm
Wait,
saying?
were you a hot hoe?
Okay, so he was Croatian. His family was very traditional, off the hop. And of course, I walk in there, right? I got at the time, I had 2 lip piercings, my tongue pierced, I got tattoos, right? I wasn't ready to meet anybody. I was just picking him up. And he's like, come in and meet my family. And I'm like, bro, I'm in Victoria's Secret sweatpants. What? Right? And a tank top. I don't remember if I was wearing a bra, right? I was just like, whatever, I'm out to pick up my piece. You wanted me to meet your family? Well, sure. Let's show them what you landed, when you're not funding 2 strippers and telling people you're dating them. Yeah, okay, honey.
Okay, so we have here Exhibit A of the hot hoe, hot lay, hot wife.
True. We do.
See, I was better than him already, so I knew that it would be easy to keep him.
That's usually the case, isn't it?
For a little while, right? But then people tried to pull the same stuff, and I'm like, ugh, dude, if you just want strippers and casual sex, go do that. Bye.
Right.
Don't lock me down, jerk. You kept me busy when I could have been out there. I was home being your wife, right? But that's what I'm saying is you make mistakes all the time, thinking that I switched, I downshifted from dating hot musicians. That was my thing, right? And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should try a man that nobody wants.
See, what happens is that when you get a man nobody wants, they realize, they go, oh, I got you, I can get others. It kind of
yeah, and that's exactly what happened. He got too big for his britches instead of being grateful, and it ended him in divorce. And I made him pay for it.
Yeah, all right.
I made him pay for the divorce. I said, I don't even need a lawyer. I'll go by myself. You can get whatever lawyer you want. Spend your money. You know how much it ended up costing him? $400 because he didn't hire a lawyer. He just signed the paper. I said, that's right, baby.
Nice. Good boy. He's a good boy. Who's a good boy? He's a good boy.
Always keep an ace, an email to send his mom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'll send that email, bro. You just signed that paper. Thank you.
Well, I thought this was a good discussion. Look, I'm going to tell you something. I think it's going to be a running joke. I put 4 topics, and the 4th topic never get discussed. So I'm going to keep putting it on topic.
We have no time for Matt Damon. Good night, everybody.
I'm going to keep putting it on the list until we talk about it. As of right now, it's just going to be a running joke. But anyway, let's do our conclusion. So I just want to say, first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming. This was really fun. And I love when I leave away learning something, because what me and Jasmine were talking about was just natural. But when Haley broke it down in reference to the contract of marriage, I was like, oh my God, that's us. So it's I feel sorry for women who decide to get married and they don't like sex. Yeah.
I think we could expand on that topic.
Go ahead.
Because I get on both sides, where I get, men who talk to me about their wives not wanting to have sex, but then I get the opposite side where I have women who then talk to me that their men don't want to have sex. So it's both of them. And I'm like, what is going on here? I think we could have an expanded topic on this, dynamic of why on both sides they end up having these discussions. And it's okay, then what's the point of being married in the first place? What is going on here within this dynamic? One is okay, I have one guy who essentially got married because the girl got pregnant, which is a whole nother dynamic. And then I have another one where it's like she ended up having 2 kids, and then it's like all of a sudden the husband now sees her, doesn't see her the same way anymore. So then he can't have sex with her anymore. And I'm like, okay, what's that about? And that's like a whole
Huh.
nother dynamic. So then it's like, okay, like what changes and this and that. So like we can have a whole nother discussion when it comes to this, and how things change through the dynamics of marriage. And because that's where I come from. I was married for over 30 years. So I'm like the quintessential good girl that the manosphere always talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, you are 30 years.
yeah,
Wow.
like I met him at 16. So I was the good girl with the one guy who then who ultimately ended up getting divorced. But like that's essentially the other problem, right? But I'm also got what happened, and I could go through the whole dynamics of everything. But like you go through this whole swirl of things, of issues. But again, like we could go through the bigger dynamics between.
Maybe we should. I'm probably gonna do some research on this, and we can bring it up next Tuesday. Of course, the Tates probably get into the news again, so we probably do it right after.
Yes. Yes.
That seems to be the theme right now. So yes, I think that's great. We can definitely talk about that next Tuesday, because I'm very interested in what, besides too much estrogen due to diet, what would make a man also, if he looks at his wife differently because she has children, what makes him not want to have sex?
So men put us into 2 categories in Madonna whore.
Yeah.
And what they need to realize is there is a gray.
Yeah.
They can't
Right?
handle it.
Because Madonna whore is very black and white. You're either a whore or you're perfect. And we need to make men see the gray in between.
We're literally working with Lego blocks while women are a hologram.
I
We're
know,
a
right?
hologram. We're so far past the Lego blocks and the corners and the little tiny cubbies that they try to put us in. We're 1,000 things at the same time, and they cannot even process it.
They're managing being a penis in a wallet. I think adding a third thing, like asking for directions or making their own sandwich, is very confusing to them. Can you do a third thing, honey? Can you do a third thing? Thank you. Could you just do that third thing?
All right. So who wants to start off with any closing thoughts on any and all of the any particular topic we talked about, or all of them?
I wouldn't mind actually talking about the hoes, whether they're better, like a housewife or not, maybe next time.
Yeah, I want to
but
do
everything
more
else I
research
think we
on that,
covered
because
pretty
that
good.
sounds like a very good topic to talk about. And congrats to Haley for getting us a topic that we can really dig our teeth in and do more research on. And Sharon bringing up the fact that it's so amazing that I'm in my little echo chamber, that to hear men don't want sex, it's like my mouth is like, what? Those guys exist? I'm so excited to get into this topic next Tuesday. But I'm also more excited to also do some research.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some research on that one, and I'll have to have a discussion on some of the guys onto both sides, because I don't get that either. Even after 30 years, like we didn't have it. That was not our issue. So I don't understand that issue, because again, I don't get it. But that's a whole nother thing. We can have that discussion, as I said. But it seems to be a growing problem, and I have no idea what it's about. But I think we need to dive into like the complexity of the psychological issues that are going on between the two, and as to why, and what it's all about, and that kind of stuff. And then, of course, the hosts do make better wives. Sorry to say, because sex is extremely important.
Okay, and Hollywood, what would you like to say afterward? By the way, I saw somebody make a comment. Serena said Elvis Presley had the virgin whore dichotomy. He wouldn't sleep with Priscilla after she had Lisa. Is that true?
I've heard that.
He also groomed and married her early too. So I'm not going to totally listen to Elvis or Jerry Lee Lewis or anyone else who married his cousin.
Yeah, I would say great discussion. I love to see the faces in here. I love to see your comments on stuff. And yeah, in general, I think there's a lot going on underneath the surface, and society acts like, oh, this is what you do. And only when the problems hit the wall, they're like, wait a minute, where are we? So yeah, there's all kinds of interesting places we could go with uh the gap between women and men, how different we are. That's why we don't understand that we're literally walking around with a bank account between our legs. We do not know that. Girls are not born knowing that. There's all kinds of issues around that.
True, true. Well,
Good talk, though,
yeah, and by
everybody.
the way, I'm so glad I did this on the computer because I don't know if you guys noticed, but I got disconnected twice while we were from the phone while we were talking. So I'm gonna definitely go buy a microphone so I can put it on the computer that's associated with my Tree of Logic account because for some reason the phone maybe doesn't like me, but it keeps disconnecting me and reconnecting me, so it's all good. But yes. Good talk, everyone. And I will and thank you so much. Although I need to give myself a spanking for cursing. I did it 3 times. Oh, so yeah. So I got nobody to be angry with but myself. But I'm going to work on it. It's a work in process. But like I said, if any ladies would like to join, you have to have a rapport with me or somebody from this panel have to vouch for you. Okay. Let me know and we'll invite you to the next one. But with that being said, I want to thank you all for coming by. I will have this edited and up on the YouTube channel so you can listen to this at your leisure. All right. But you can also listen to the replay here on Twitter. Okay. Thank you. And I'll see you all next Tuesday. All right. Take care. Later, taters.